Hey guys, it's Ashen from Ashen Warrior Props, and welcome to once again a new place. Today we're actually going to do something a little different. I was talking about this over on my Instagram and everybody seemed to like the idea, but today we're going to go over technical skills and tips and tricks. We'll call this series whatever it is. It's essentially going to be smaller videos dedicated to the smaller technical skills around building and just simple tips and tricks to help improve your cosplayer prop. Before we get into it, I want to apologize for the really long gap in time between the last video and this video. Those of you who are following my social media know my wife and I just bought a house, and with buying a house comes renovations. With renovations comes this, that, and the other. But yes, for the first time ever, you are seeing something in a house that I own. This is my house. This is my basement, my workshop. Still under renovations. The walls are not quite exactly where I want them to be yet, but that just comes with owning a house. But anywho, yeah, between buying a house, those of you, some of you may have bought from my Etsy store before. That took off way farther than I wanted it to. Very sorry for those of you whose sole interactions with me are on YouTube. I'm very sorry, that won't be happening again. I plan on having a more frequent build schedule between either this tips and tricks video and other tutorials. The tips and tricks was sparked with the idea of, instead of just bringing strictly tutorials to you, because that, let's be fair, only teaches you how to build one thing at a time, I'm going to also be delving into this tips and tricks with technical skills and other things that can help improve your builds at home. So today, what we're going to be focusing on is minor details. What sparked this to be the first one was, as you can see, I'm working on the Elden Ring helmet, the Derek Elden Ring from, Derek Elden Ring, the titular character from upcoming popular game Elden Ring. You can see here, there's these nice twisted and braided details that are on here, and a lot of people ask me how I go about doing stuff like that, because it's really something that can elevate the quality of your build when it comes to small details. Now today we're going to be going over several methods of how to achieve something like that small twist or small braid. We're going to go over a couple different ways of achieving that kind of twist, and it's best to use this twist, granted in something that calls for it, but it really can add something if it's a custom helmet or something purely out of your own imagination. Add something to elevate your prop to the next level, and I really think it's a really cool trick. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the first method we're going to do doesn't involve too many tools. It essentially involves a strip of foam and a drill. And again, we're going to go over different methods to achieve it. But one thing to note when you're doing this method, as you can see here, this is a piece of 2mm foam that is 2mm wide, 2mm tall. What that's going to do is yield a really wonderful result. If you do something where it's more elongated, if your strip is, whereas this one is 2mm thin and about 4mm tall, that is going to give you a more spiral effect rather than a coil. Now, to achieve this first method, it is simply, you just need a piece of your strip of foam. Again, I'm using 2mm HD foam. HD foam works the best for me, and I encourage everyone to start using HD foam. If you're not, it is really, we are taking our strip of foam and we're going to either chuck it up in a vise or hold it in your hand. So for this one, I'm going to use a drill and make it a little loud because it's in the mic, and I'm going to simply, tighten it down. You don't want it too tight. You're going to be taking this and holding. It's best to make sure it's all even, so you'll see it's still on one side, and simply start slow until you get a hang of this. Or you're just going to start the drill rotating. And you'll see, because I got this even, the coils are mostly evenly spaced. There's a little down here where I cut the strip is a little thinner, so it yielded a more thin result. But for the most part, if you have a thin, evenly cut strip, you will get something even like this. Ryan, you're gonna love editing this. I promise you, you're gonna love to edit this. Yeah, there's where I had it. So that's the first method. Super simple, super easy, really hard to mess up. Key there is to make sure to get it evenly spaced, keep your strip nice and evenly cut. If you have a leather strip cutter, I've actually found that that works pretty well. So now we're gonna move into the second method that I like to use with foam, and we're gonna call that the tack and twist. So for the tack and twist, we're gonna do something super simple, super easy. You're essentially gonna need a straight pin or two, or sewing pins as some people call them. It's essentially this. Here I'm gonna like squat a little bit because I didn't quite put the camera right back where I needed to be. I typically have my wife behind the camera, but she is upstairs taking a nap. So what we're gonna do is you take your thumbtack, you're gonna tack your strip to your base material. So if it's a trim piece on a helmet that you're doing, you're gonna tack the strip and into the base piece that you're working on, and then you're simply going to space your finger out about 2 inches, maybe. It depends on, again, it depends on what you want to do. This one involves no power tools. So you're going to tack the first piece or super glue it and then tack it, and then you're going to lightly twist until you have the coil number that you want. And then once you've got that first 2 inches, you're going to tack it again, move up 2 inches, twist until it's even, glue, tack down, and then move up another 2 inches. That is pretty much it for that method. It's super easy. It's actually what I did on this helmet. I literally started up here with a really long piece of foam. I tacked it, glued it, twisted 2 inches, twisted 2 inches, twisted 2 inches, and every 2 inches I just tacked it again with another straight pin, and that gives you this really nice crispy result. Pardon the silicone on this build. This is just my prototype build. Yeah, I'm Derek Eldenring. Got a nice zoom in on my nippy there. Don't leave that in, please, Ryan. So that was the tack and twist method. Again, that one is probably the easiest if you're gonna like sit down. Anywho, so we're gonna move on to the next version of this, and that is going to be the double drill method. The double drill method is kind of unnecessary. My editor was here for American Thanksgiving, and we got bored one evening. I was like, hey, grab that drill and I'll show you. We'll do it with my drill, and we're gonna see if we can't, make it work with 2 different drills. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to chuck one end of the foam strip into your drill number 1, and then chuck the other end into drill number 2. And it's simple as that. You wanna start pretty slow until you get a good feel for it, but once you start both drills up with your thumbs, you'll notice a really cool effect starting to happen. It's also very tricky to keep track of, so for your first attempt, I don't encourage trying it this way. I'd stick with number 1, either using your finger and a drill, or a bench vise and a drill, or even doing the tack and twist. This is kind of just, but yeah, so that will cover pretty much the double drill method. Next, we're going to move on to a different type entirely. For this type, I've recently been experimenting with using printer filament for a myriad of different purposes. I've done chainmail out of printer filament. You'll see here the rings that are kind of like piercings on this helmet are done out of printer filament. You can make chainmail out of printer filament. You can do this twist out of filament. You can do braids out of filament. All it does is you're able to get a rounder result. Historically, in something like this, it's gonna have sharp edges, so I don't encourage doing this unless your reference is explicitly supposed to be rounded like this. And for this, the easiest method, you can apply any method that I've demonstrated here for this printer filament. With this, you're simply going to take 2 strips of it, and what you're gonna do is put one end into a bench vise and one end into your drill chuck. That's essentially it. You're just gonna slowly twist this. If you twist fast, it's gonna get away from you really quickly and it's gonna snap your filament, especially if you've got older filament, it'll snap it immediately. But once you've twisted it, just go over it lightly with a heat gun and then you're good to go. Yeah, I think that's it. Those are the 3 or 4, I guess now, different methods of creating that really nice, cool, detailed twist to your cosplay or prop, depending on what you're doing. Once again, I apologize for my massive leap of absence. That won't be happening again on YouTube. It's going to be steady content coming soon. I have a lot of cool builds planned for you, including this one. I really hope you guys enjoyed just the small little tips and tricks. Again, what I want to be focusing on in this series is the small technical skills, such as how to add some small twist details, how to do trim details, how to do, whatever. If there's a tip or trick that you would like me to review or show you how to do, or how I do a specific kind of tool, sound off in the comments. Here comes my boy Arthur. Just come say hey to everybody. Yeah. this is how big he's gotten. If you remember the last time I showed him to you, he would fit on my shoulder. Sound off in the comments what you would like me to show you how to do next. And I believe that's about the third or fourth time I've tried to say that without something going on. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next video. It'll be some sort of tutorial video. It'll either be the Elden Ring build, a Mehrunes Dagon, or I even finally mastered how to do foam Mandalorians, which typically people don't do foam Mandalorians. So if you'd like to see that, I will show you how to do that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to keep up with me anywhere, check out my social medias. I'm most active on Instagram because I hate Facebook. Sorry, Zuck. I also am not on Twitter. Oh, Twitch. I'm live streaming a lot on Twitch lately. I'm having a blast doing it. Everybody comes around and we all talk shop, talk nerdy stuff. Same Twitch handle. It's twitch.tv/AshenWarriorProps. I actually built this all on live stream. We all had a blast. We all make jokes, have fun. It's a real good time. I'd love to see you around. But yeah, okay, this time for real. I'll see you guys later.